The sun was a happy, warm hug. It beamed down on Mira's little village. Laughter danced in the air, bright and free. Mira, a girl with sunshine in her smile, played. She skipped near the sparkling, gurgling river. Her heart was as light as a feather. Life felt simple and oh so good. It was just a perfect, ordinary Arvo, a day she would remember for always. Truly a beautiful memory in the making. Then, like a scene from a storybook, they arrived. Merchants with eyes that twinkled like distant stars. Their wagons were full of amazing things. Silks shimmered in reds, blues and greens. Spices smelled like faraway magical lands. They smiled kindly at little Mira. Their voices were soft, like a gentle breeze. They seemed to bring excitement with them. The village kids gathered, eyes wide with wonder. It felt like a holiday had suddenly appeared. The merchants spoke of a grand city, a place full of lights and incredible sights. They promised Mira she could learn new things, maybe even go to a real school there. Imagine all the books, all the stories. Her bright, curious mind buzzed with thoughts. The city sounded like a dream come true, a world so different from her quiet home. They painted a picture of a wonderful life. A life full of chances, they said. Mira looked at their smiling faces. Then she looked back at her familiar village. She thought of her mum, Artie, her warm hugs. A little bit of worry tiptoed into her heart. But the merchants were so very persuasive. They promised she could visit home often. The city's adventure called to her spirit, so, with a small nod, she agreed to go. A new chapter was about to begin, leaving home, but with hope in her eyes. The journey to the city was long. When they finally arrived, Mira was amazed. Buildings stretched up, trying to touch the sky. So many people rushed here and there. The noise was like 100 rivers flowing. It was so different from her peaceful village. The city glittered, but it also felt huge, and a little bit scary if she was honest. Her initial excitement began to fade a little. This new world was a lot to take in. Soon the merchant's promises felt empty, like a colourful balloon that had lost its air. There was no school with books and stories. Instead, Mira was put to hard work. Her small hands had to clean and carry. The days were long and the nights lonely. The kindness she knew had disappeared. This wasn't the dream they had painted. It felt more like a pretty cage. She missed the sunshine of her village. Every night, Mira thought of her mum, Artie. She remembered Artie's gentle song. She recalled the taste of her mum's cooking, the warmth of their small, cosy hut. Here in the big smoke, everything felt cold. No one sang her songs or told her stories. Tears would silently trace paths down her cheeks. She hugged herself, pretending it was Artie. Oh, how she longed for her mother's embrace. The city lights couldn't warm her heart, but Mira was a strong little girl. Even though she was sad, she didn't give up. She held on to the memories of her mum. She remembered Artie's strength and love. That love became a tiny flame inside her, a flame of hope that she would see Artie again. This hope kept her going each day. It whispered that things could get better. She had to believe for her mum's sake and for her own brave little heart. Back in the village, Artie's world crumbled. One moment Mira was there, her sunshine, the next just an empty space by the river, a silence that screamed louder than any shout. Artie's heart felt like it had shattered into a million tiny, painful pieces. The village tried to comfort her, of course, but a mother's love knows its own child. She knew she couldn't just sit and wait. Her Mira needed her. She felt it deep inside. So Artie made a brave decision. She would go to the city, that unknown place. She would find her precious daughter, no matter how big or scary it seemed. She packed a small bag with a few things, a little food, a lot of determination. Fear tried to whisper doubts in her ear. But her love for Mira shouted louder. She said goodbye to her quiet village and stepped out on a path of pure hope. The city was a confusing, noisy maze. Artie had never seen so many faces or so many tall, unfeeling buildings. She walked for miles, day after day. She asked everyone she met, "Have you seen my Mira?" She showed them a small, faded drawing. Sometimes people were kind, sometimes not. Many just hurried past, lost in their own worlds. But Artie's spirit refused to break. She would not, could not give up hope. Exhaustion became her constant companion. Some nights she slept on cold, hard streets. Hunger gnawed at her, a dull ache. Her feet were sore, her body tired. But the image of Mira's smiling face, that beautiful image kept her moving forward. It was her fuel, her strength, her guiding star. A mother's love is a truly powerful thing. It can move mountains, cross oceans, and it was leading Artie step by weary step. One day Mira found herself near a river. It wasn't her village river, but it was close. The water flowed just like her memories. It was a small comfort in the big city. She often came here to feel less alone, to dream of her mum, of home. She closed her eyes and pictured Artie's face. A tiny whisper of hope fluttered within her. Maybe, just maybe, things could change. The river seemed to understand her longing. Artie too felt drawn to that same river. Her feet were so tired, her spirit almost spent, but something pulled her towards the water's edge. Perhaps it was the sound, so like home. Her eyes scanned the few people there. Then she saw a young girl sitting quietly. There was something so familiar about her, a small figure with hair like dark silk. Artie's heart gave a sudden hopeful leap. Could it truly be, after all this time? Artie's voice, a little shaky, called out, "Mira! Is that you, my darling Mira?" The young girl turned, her eyes wide. For a moment the whole world stood still. Then recognition dawned like the sunrise. "Mum!" Mira cried, her voice full of tears. She ran and Artie ran, and they met. An embrace filled with all the lost moments, all the heartache, all the unspoken love. Tears of joy streamed down their faces. Their journey had been so incredibly hard, filled with sadness, separation and struggle. But the bond between a mother and child, well, that's something truly special. It's a thread that can stretch and stretch, but it will never ever break. Family ties are our greatest treasure, you know. They give us strength when we feel weak. They guide us home no matter how lost we are. And that kind of love, it always wins, always.